Let me tell you something that most traders only understand after they've already paid the price, and by then, the damage is done. Not because they didn't study enough, not because they didn't try hard enough, but because they misunderstood something so simple. It hides in plain sight. Most traders believe that the goal is to win, to be right, to predict the market correctly. And at first, this belief feels completely logical, because everywhere else in life, being right is what gets rewarded. In school, you're rewarded for correct answers. In work, you're rewarded for making the right decisions. So naturally, you bring that same mindset into trading. And that's where the problem begins, because the market doesn't reward being right. It rewards something completely different. It rewards consistency. It rewards discipline. It rewards your ability to think in probabilities instead of certainties. But most traders never make that shift. Let me explain what happens. You enter a trade, and in that moment, everything is clear. You saw your setup. You understood your risk. You knew exactly what to do. But the moment the trade goes live, something changes. Now there's money involved. Now there's something to gain and something to lose. And more importantly, now there's something to prove. The market moves slightly against you. And suddenly it's not just a trade anymore. It feels like you're wrong. And your mind hates being wrong. So it tries to protect you. It tells you, hold it a little longer. It will come back. Don't close yet. These thoughts feel logical. They feel like patience. They feel like confidence. But they're not. They're emotional reactions disguised as logic. And because of them, a small controlled loss turns into a much bigger one. Now flip the situation. The trade moves in your favor. You're in profit. But instead of feeling calm, you feel pressure. Because now you don't want to lose that profit. So what do? You close early. You take a small win, even though your plan was aiming for something bigger. Why? Because you want to lock in being right. You want confirmation. You want proof. And just like that, you create the worst possible pattern in trading. You cut your winners and you hold your losers. This is where most traders get stuck. They think the problem is their strategy. They think they need a better indicator, a better entry, a better system. But the real problem is much deeper. It's the way they think about trading itself. Here's something that changes everything once you truly understand it. Trading is not about predicting what will happen next. It's about reacting to what actually happens. It's not about certainty. It's about probability. And probability means you don't need to be right every time. In fact, you can be wrong more than half the time and still make money. Let that sink in, because this is where most traders struggle. They're trying to win every trade. They're trying to avoid losses completely. And in doing that, they destroy their consistency. Let me take you deeper into this. Every time you take a trade, it's just one event in a series of many, one outcome in a long chain of probabilities. But your mind doesn't see it that way. Your mind zooms in on this one trade and makes it feel like everything depends on it. And when one trade feels that important, emotions take over. You hesitate on good setups because you're afraid of being wrong. You overtrade because you're trying to recover losses. You revenge trade because you want your money back. You move your stop because you can't accept the loss. And slowly, your system disappears. Your rules disappear. Your discipline disappears. All that's left is reaction. And reaction is what destroys traders. Now here's the shift that most traders learn too late. The goal is not to win the next trade. The goal is to execute your system flawlessly over a series of trades. Because your edge doesn't play out in one trade, it plays out over time. Professional traders understand this deeply. They don't care about being right on a single trade. They care about following their process. They take trades knowing some will win, some will lose, and that's perfectly fine. Because their focus is not on individual outcomes, it's on consistency. Did I follow my rules? Did I manage my risk? Did I execute without emotional interference? That's it. No drama, no ego, no need to prove anything. And when you reach that point, something powerful happens. Trading becomes simple. Not easy, but simple. You stop overthinking. You stop chasing perfection. You stop trying to control the market. Instead, you start trusting your process. You start thinking in probabilities. You start seeing losses as part of the game, not as failure. And that shift changes everything, because once you remove the need to be right, you remove the emotional pressure. And when the pressure is gone, clarity returns. You can finally see the market for what it is, not as something to fight, but as something to work with. Let me leave you with this. The traders who succeed are not the ones who predict the market perfectly. They're the ones who can execute consistently, without letting their emotions interfere. And the sooner you understand this, the sooner everything changes. Because in trading, it's not about being right. It's about being consistent.